Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tech Informist. This is episode 61, recorded live on Wednesday. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, April 22nd, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell. I'm joined by Brad Whiteside. Brad, how are you doing this fine Wednesday morning?
Other than it being spring and a little stuffed up, I'm doing just fine.
I understand. I'm still feeling it from, the last couple weeks myself. It's getting annoying. If I could just get rid of this cough, I'd be doing really good. So don't be surprised. Sometimes I have to randomly mute myself and get a couple little coughing fits out. So not everybody else has to hear it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna rock without a camera today. Hope you guys don't mind because I'll be occasionally blowing my nose, and I don't want to grace the internet with that. So
Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, JJ sometimes rocks without the camera, so it is what it is. And we can't have the Tech Informist without JJ. We miss him not being able to join us, but he's still dealing with some appointments that he's scheduling conflicts. But hopefully he'll be back soon because we're looking forward to having him back once in a while. And it's going to be a nice mix of between
and
Brad and JJ and myself, little combination shows.
maybe all three at once. Uh-oh.
Yep, you never know. You never know what'll happen. What'll happen. So the Tech Informist, for people that are listening for the first time, is a show about technology. We like to cover some of the daily tech news that comes through our feeds from time to time, as there's so many things going on, whether it's from Popular Science or any of the Mobile Nation sites. We focus a lot on consumer technology, but other things that catch our eye and it's like, oh, wow, that sounds like it'd be fun to talk about. So you never know where the discussion is going to lead, but rest assured, Tech Informist, technology content. So we'll go ahead and get into some of our tech news today. And I'll go ahead and lead off with a story that came out recently about YouTube changing some of their APIs. And by doing this, it's going to cause people with some older devices, we're talking like Apple TV 1 and 2, and even some other older Blu-ray disc players that could stream things like YouTube and Netflix. They're out there. So what YouTube is wanting to do is update their data API. And what Google says this is going to do is open it up to features like comments and captions and RSS push notifications and the ability to flag videos. Now, of course, if you just bought, an Apple TV within the last couple of years, you're likely going to be affected here. And it will still allow you to use AirPlay to stream from your iPhone, because obviously it's going to work with iOS, what is it, iOS 7 and above. So if you're running less than iOS 7, you're in trouble on your iPad or iPhone. I don't know. With all these changes, things, we have to move things forward, but I don't like the fact that people that buy equipment, then you end up losing out on services, whether you use YouTube or not on these streaming devices. That's kind of a little bit beside the point. It's just the fact that any service that you're going to lose, to me, is kind of a bummer. So I always hate seeing things like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on something like that, Brad? Or
Well, I had saw that story, I believe it was yesterday, and that really disrupts the Windows side of things, especially the mobile side, because a lot of the YouTube apps are third-party apps. So anytime they disrupt the APIs, the third-party apps usually have to scramble to try to get an update out so their apps work again. I
right,
mean, I understand why Google does it. I understand, there's either something that they've written that's better or faster, and they want to put that code out. I mean, it could very well just be them being mean and, not wanting third-party apps to work all the time, every time, and they're just messing with people. I don't know. But I'm just gonna go with the first one and give them the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, along the lines of other devices, like you said, like older Blu-ray players with Netflix on it. Now, could they potentially get like an update to those apps?
well,
Or
According to this article, it's from The Verge. They talk about older TVs, Blu-ray disc players from Sony, Panasonic, Google TV devices running version 3 or 4, game consoles without support for Adobe Flash or HTML5, along with iOS devices running anything less than iOS 7. The update also impacts the second generation Apple TV, requiring users to start videos on their iPhones, iPods, and iPads and stream them using AirPlay. The change is likely to have the biggest impact on anyone who hasn't purchased a dedicated streaming device in the past 3 years, and that relies on apps built into smart TV sets. And considering most people only update their TV sets every 8 years approximately, that's a lot of smart TV owners.
Ah, yes, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer for them. I mean, I personally would never buy a smart TV for that reason, because those platforms tend to die very quickly. I mean, I would rather attach a smart device like a Roku or an Xbox or Apple TV or something like that and use that.
Right. I mean, I know a lot of Vizio TV sets, within the last couple of years have a lot of these applications just built in.
Hmm.
And, I mean, since I don't have one of these TVs that have these apps built in, I've just got an older, and I guess, wow, now that I think about it, we've had our TV it'll be 8 years in October, November. Yeah, November. And it's just an old, what is it? The one with the mirrors. I can't remember the technology in it off the top of my head. I mean, it almost looks like a big, one of those deep projection screens, but it's not.
Oh, I see.
But I mean, it's a nice TV. But yeah, it's wow. Now that I think about it, it's like, well, we haven't bought a new TV in 8 years. So
Yeah, ours is actually already approaching, or not, already is 4 years old, and I mean it's a nice, LG or not OLED. I wish LED, and yeah. I mean it never has any of the smart features, obviously, but I mean I've got all my Xboxes, so I'm good.
yeah, I'm like you. I think I would rather just hook up a Chromecast, or we got a Fire TV hooked up to it, and obviously our PlayStation 3 is still hooked up to it, so you can always watch Netflix or Amazon Prime streaming, and you can access Pandora and just all sorts of different services.
And yes, Samuel, the MetroTube app was updated yesterday, along with a few others that were either about to update or already did. So most of the Windows Phone stuff is already fixed, so that's good.
Yeah, MetroTube's probably my favorite YouTube app on Windows.
Oh yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, the developers have done a really good job with that application.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about IKEA and their future kitchens.
Well, it turns out that they also have a vision of the future, and basically you can buy a table from them, and you can set these ingredients on the table, and then there'll come up a display on the table that'll say what you can make out of these ingredients. And let's see, I think they said they're about 10 years out from something like this, but it's just something that they're looking into, and I think it's really interesting for this technology to recognize what you're actually placing on the table. Like in the video that they showed, it was like broccoli and a few other vegetables, and when you place them together, it'll tell you what you can make and out of that. And when you place them apart, it tells you suggested things. It's just really, in a way, out there still. And I don't know, is this something that would interest you at all, or is this a little too gimmicky for you?
Considering how much it probably would cost, I think it's not something that I'd be interested in purchasing for myself. Because I mean, I know there's applications out there that you can plug in ingredients and hey, what can I make with like what's in my cupboard or what's in my cabinet, what's in my pantry, things like that. So kind of similar services, but it's kind of neat, looking through some of these concept sketches and things like that, how that works. You got something that's above the table and it recognizes what you're placing on the table.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, they could almost scrap that and use some of the new, like, cameras that they'll be using for biometric scanning because they'll have more of a depth of field and IR sensors, kind of like a Kinect almost. I mean,
Yes.
if you could do that, and scratch this really expensive thing and just use something you already have, I mean, all you would really need is something to project it onto the table. But hey, HoloLens is coming.
Yeah, it could probably do that. And I mean, it's going to be interesting. I cannot wait until the IKEA here in St. Louis is actually finished so I can go see what the big fuss is all about, because I've heard nothing but really good things about it.
So actually, we had a buddy that was in Chicago, and because he was in Chicago, they have an IKEA, and we had him stop by and pick up a piece of furniture for us. Long story short, he said it was extremely confusing to shop, and he would never go back, but that we'll make him go back. um, I've heard that if you have never been in an IKEA, it is a little confusing. But the products that they sell, I think, which is the most important part, they're very quality for a very affordable price. And to see them thinking more into the future, maybe this device won't be as much as we're claiming it to be, because I mean there really is no price on what their little idea is. But IKEA is known for a decent price, so maybe it'd be $50-100. We don't know.
Yeah, I guess it'll be. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see if they continue on with this, or if this is just little concept ideas, or
Yeah,
what they're
exactly.
wanting to do, and how many pieces will I need to put together?
Yeah.
It's most of the stuff you do have to put together. So no, I'm just really looking forward to seeing what they come up with, and what they'll have when the store opens. Which I need
Yeah,
to look into seeing when our store is supposed to open.
it's sometime this spring.
Oh wow! So it's not too far away. I know they're busy working, because the
Yes, they
office, I'll go get some work done in the co-working space in St. Louis, CIC CET. Um, I can see it right from the window that they're always got a big old crew over there working pretty much nonstop to get this thing done.
Yes, they practically have everything, Samuel.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next story that I want to kind of touch on is about forgetting text messages and send emotions over the air. Now, this story comes from Popular Science, and it just caught my eye because it was kind of interesting. Because we know with like the Apple Watch, you can send somebody else that's got an Apple Watch, your heartbeat, pulse, whatever you want to call that. So this actually does not use any wearable technology. It's a device that looks like it's going to sit on a table, and it's going to test the emotional impact of of the study's participants, called ultra haptics, which use directed bursts of air to trigger those emotions via haptic or touch-based feedback. And though the ultra haptics device is bulky and sits on a desk, the researchers envision a day when the same end result could be accomplished by a bracelet worn on one's wrist. Now sitting there trying to rack my brain, trying to figure out what the use case scenario of this
Yeah,
could really be.
that is weird to think about what you could use this for. I mean, I'm thinking more, I mean, if we're talking about haptic feedback, emotionally, I'm thinking more of like somebody who has poor vision to no vision, or or somebody that might be deaf. I mean, that maybe that something like this could help them in some venture or another.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's, according to this, it's hardly a far-fetched idea, especially given the current intense interest around both haptics and wearable technology. And, they reference the Apple Watch using a specialized haptic engine. The watch can also be used to send one's heartbeat to a friend, like we mentioned before, and then they can experience a series of taps on the wrist. Granted, in many cases, that might seem too intimate, and it potentially conveys fewer distinct emotions than this system from Obrist. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting what people spend time and resources on trying to develop and come up with, these, specific just random niche kind of technology things, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of sort of random technologies, there are a few engineers that made a simple little device that is actually quite cheap and could be implemented to a bunch of doctors' offices so that injections hurt less for, let's say, children or older people. And basically, it's this little cylinder right now. It's a little cylinder, and in the cylinder they use the little cold packets that you put in the fridge, and you like mix that with water, and it does this chemical reaction and makes it really cold. Well, with this small little 3D printed device, they could couple that with, let's say, a needle, and it only takes about 30 seconds for the chemical reaction to go. And once you put it to the skin, skin gets numb, they do the injection, boom, you're done. I think this is a really cool idea, simply because I can remember as a child, getting a few shots, and they're not very pleasant when you're a kid. But I mean, this could really help with, like, especially with somebody with the fear of needles. This could really help because you just kind of be assured that you're not going to feel that incredible amount of pain for some.
Right.
And it also depends on where you're getting the shot too. I mean, in your arm is a lot different than I don't know, your neck. But I don't know what shot you get in the neck, but we'll just go with it. What do you think, Kevin? I mean, this seems really cool to me. I really enjoy, seeing things that help people out. What do you think?
Yeah, looking back at this particular story, it always reminds me of going to the eye doctor and sitting in the chair. They have to,
Puff.
blow that burst, yeah,
Yeah.
right in your eye. I'm like, oh god, that just freaks me out every time they do it.
I actually just did that last week.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to the eye doctor. I probably need to get my prescription changed, even though I don't wear my contacts or glasses.
Well, I was just, I hadn't been for about 4 years, went back. The eye doctor said that I'm a great candidate for laser surgery because my eyes haven't changed one bit. So that is good news.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're still young.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still young.
That's
You
what
got
they keep
time.
telling me.
Yeah. All right. All right. So hop in and talk about your next story. Curious about this.
All right, so the Microsoft Band is receiving more tracking features in the latest update. Now, this update doesn't look like it's going live till Thursday, but a lot of it has to do with things that they just added, like the bike tile. They had added that somewhere in like February, in February, and they're adding more apps to that tile that you can link that will... let's see, like Map My Ride, and I believe it's pronounced Starva. And the one thing about this that interests me the most is this thing that they're calling comparative insight, which you can measure data such as daily daily steps, sleep, workout frequency, and calories burned compared to similar Microsoft Health customers based on body type, height, weight, and customers looking for motivation can use those comparative insights as a benchmark to understand their health relative to similar people. And in my opinion, that is something that I'm really sorely missing. I need, because right now I don't know if I'm doing better or worse than the average 27-year-old. And this is a nice benchmark to look to see what everybody else is doing. They also are adding a few other things, sleep recovery, which it just seems more detailed sleep tracking, max volume of oxygen intake, run exercise observations. So they're constantly adding things to the band, which just gives me another reason to tell my friends about it. Like, hey, you guys need to check this out if you're into the wearable thing, because not only can you get notifications on your phone, but it's a really good way to stay healthy and track your things. So what do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, they've really come a long way with the band, and it's very impressive that it hasn't just been a okay, we're going to put it out there and really not do much to it other than the original software that was released with it.
Right. Yeah, I when it first came out, I was, it was a Microsoft thing. I really wanted something like this, but it was kind of lacking a few things. And it seems with every update, it just gets better and better. And that, initial 200 that we spent to get it was just a great investment because Microsoft seems to be so good about their updates. They're constantly fixing or adding things, and I mean, something as simple as when it first came out, when you did the sleep mode, you'd have to turn the screen off because it wouldn't turn the screen off when you went to track your sleep, which was kind of silly. Why do you want something bright when you're trying to sleep? I know I don't. So I mean, it took them less than a week to get that first patch out. And that really helped me because I was tracking my sleep like crazy. I wanted to know, how well I sleep. So
yeah, that was one of the nice things about it that I really liked about it, and kind of wishing I still had my band. Now that
mine is
like,
still.
once me and Kyle Reddick, we had talked about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to sell it, and so he bought it. It's like as soon as I put it in the mail to ship to him, all of a sudden all these updates start showing up. I'm like, really? You couldn't have done this like a month ago, and I probably would still have it.
That's funny. I bought his 1520, and here you sell him your band.
Yeah, and he was a guest back on one of our early episodes too. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's actually doing a little work for who was it that Paul Thurrott was working with? What website was that?
Oh,
gosh,
all about Microsoft. About
something like that. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is, but anyway, that he's doing some writing and some things with them now. Actually.
That's cool. That's really hot. Sorry if you hear any construction outside. They're busy pouring concrete and things like that.
Nice. Yeah, FedEx just showed up and rang my doorbell, and I think that was either the Galaxy S6 or the 6 Edge that they just dropped off from AT&T.
Ooh, exciting
to check out. So I know what I'll be doing once I'm done with the show. All right. So let's see. Next. Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about some cable TV and unbundling, the whole a la carte idea. And it's something I've been kind of pushing for and talking about for a long time, that I want cable companies, satellite companies to give us, smaller little packages to choose from. Let me choose, a basic bundle for like $20, and it comes with a set amount of channels. And then let me pick and choose, from different pricing tiers. Like, okay, you can choose from, a variety of these channels for, $3 or $4 a month, because I might only want to get 2 or 3 out of theirs, out of that category. And then another category for like $3 and another one for $2. And just let me pick my plan that I want. If I only watch like 10 to 15 channels at the most, give me the opportunity to just pick and choose those 15. I don't need 200 channels or of all this nonsense and be paying $100 a month. It's one of the nice things that I like about what Sling TV is doing, even though it's not really still at the point that I would want to jump on board with some of their channel offerings. It's slowly kind of getting that way, because it looks like over the last few weeks, Verizon and Disney has been having a very public spat about the future of cable television. Verizon wants to offer its customers a selection of slim cable bundles with its Fios service, which I wish Verizon Fios was here in St. Louis, because with their internet, they match the upload speed to your download speed. So if you're getting 100 meg down, you're getting 100 meg up. I really, really wish we had that option here in St. Louis.
Yeah, so the whole the down and up, the up used to never be a problem for me until I tried uploading 20 gigs to Sky to OneDrive.
OneDrive.
And then it became a problem.
Yeah, because it
Because it
just
took half of a day for me to upload those 20 gigs because it's only like 4 megs a second, and that's nothing.
yeah. Not to mention it affects
So,
all of your internet browsing. Anything. If you're uploading a lot and you're only on like a 4 or 5 meg upload connection,
yeah,
everything else just
needless
like
to
grinds
say,
to a halt.
needless to say, I didn't do a lot of online gaming that night either because it was next to impossible.
Yeah, the lag or the ping or just whatever is really affecting.
It was terrible. I was getting kicked constantly, and I just said, "Screw it! I'm going to
Yeah,
Minecraft."
it's horrible. I mean, I know whenever I have to upload a big bundle of things and my son's trying to, play a game or stream something, he's like, "You're uploading, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry. It's going to be a while." So yeah, that's a pain in the butt. But Disney says that it violates their contract, specifically splitting off ESPN and ESPN2 in a separate sports package, which Verizon knows that, regardless of what the actual contract says, publicizing the offering is an easy win so long as Disney takes the blame for not letting it happen. So they're having their issues, and I'm thinking more and more companies, the Direct TVs, Dish Networks, and the charters and things like that. I think you're going to actually start seeing more a la carte offerings as companies like Sling really are start getting a foothold of customers with kind of like their alternative thinking, which is really the way thinking should be in this as well. I mean,
Yeah.
because how many channels do you typically watch, Brad, yourself?
Well, I am a cord cutter, so we don't specifically like find channels to watch. It's more of like whatever is on our kind of feed thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, HBO is kind of a big one, the HBO Go pass. Then we also have Netflix and Hulu, and I mean, we jump around on a lot of shows that are normally on a lot of different channels. But the whole cord cutting idea, there's always the argument, well, once you pay for internet and you pay for all these things, it's almost the same as, paying for regular cable. That's kind of true, I guess, but you're not just not going to have internet. Let's be real. This is
Right.
2015. So I'd almost say you can't include internet in that price because you're going to have internet even if you have cable. So, with that argument aside, sorry, Paul Thurrott.
Yeah.
But with that argument aside, I feel that it is cheaper to cord cut in a lot of instances, especially when you can go to a few websites. I won't name a few, but there are a few websites that you can go and watch free TV and just deal with a few ads, and they just stream your content to you, and that's the route that we have chosen for now. I mean, we just don't have a lot of time to watch TV, and when we do, we're trying to catch up on either shows or movies, and we're just kind of so backlogged. There's no reason to get, I guess, new TV.
Yeah. I mean, a friend of mine a few weeks ago, she asked me, she wanted to know if there was a way that she can hook her phone up to her TV because her TV has USB port, HDMI ports, and things like that. She's got
Yes.
Sprint, so technically she's got unlimited data. She wanted to know if she could, get rid of her, her home internet service. I'm like, well, I looked into a few things, did a little research, and found, she's got an LG G2. So I looked on Amazon and I found a micro USB to HDMI, converter or whatever. And I told her, I'm like, this one's made specifically. It should work with your phone. She ordered it, got it, it arrived on like actually Sunday delivery. I was like, that's pretty interesting. And it actually was on Easter. So which makes it doubly like, wow, they shipped on a Sunday and it was on Easter Sunday. So that's when it actually came in. She plugged it up and it did exactly what she wanted. So now because she didn't want to pay for internet twice, according
Oh,
to.
I see.
So she felt, I'm paying, double for my internet. If I can just spend whatever I'm paying for my phone, I should just be able to use that as my primary internet. So I'm like, well, it looks like it's going to work. And, she's just tickled pink with it. She's really happy with it.
Well, that's good. I know I wouldn't be. Uh, I enjoy having the amount of internet that I have and just being able to use the router to control that. I really just don't think I could do that just off of a phone.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, I guess she just lives in an area where her Sprint service is good enough to where streaming is not an issue for it. So.
Well, supposedly there was a study that was done in St. Louis, and Sprint supposedly was one of the best speeds in St. Louis. So maybe that
I
has.
find that hard to believe.
I do too, but that's what the study had said, and it was as far as I know, a third-party study. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, it's been a while since. I mean, I know a few people that use Sprint, and in the area that I live in, he's always complaining how slow his data is. I'm like, well, sorry.
Yeah, and I guess it just really depends where you are in St. Louis and what they consider St. Louis, because I mean, I have the LG G Flex, that's a Sprint phone, and I've been using that. And most of the time, it seemed like it got better coverage in the South County area than my Verizon one did. And maybe it's just, where the location was, it just, didn't have that oomph or whatever. But my AT&T seems to be my best choice in the South County area. So it seems to get the best coverage.
Yeah, you should do a speed test, and
that's a good idea.
Download the speed test app and just see, because I'm curious what actual download speeds and stuff are right now with Sprint service, especially in the area.
Yeah, I'll have to do one here and at my work just to compare. Not that they're too far away from each other, but I mean, that be surprised how much it'd make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes back with I think it was the Galaxy S4. Verizon sent me one, AT&T had sent me one, so I had them both at the same time. And we're just driving around all over the place, and I was just doing speed tests in different areas. And in this area, AT&T would be the leader, and this area, Verizon would be the the leader. And it was really interesting to actually see that.
Yeah. Well, back to the whole Verizon FiOS, I really wish we had that here, because I think it was like $10 more and you can get 80 or something like silly like that. Like that'd be awesome to have 80 upload, 80 download. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Daryl in the chat. Did I mention previously that I'm now getting 150 down and 150 up? Yeah.
And then there's a little evil grin, so I could just sit.
Yeah,
I could see his little pinky go up to his face.
Yeah, little Austin Powers kind of Dr. Evil. Just stop, Daryl. Stop it.
You're making us jealous. We're going to have to move to, is it Texas?
Yes. Yeah, he's down around the Fort Worth area.
Oh, so much tech going on down there.
I know. Yeah. And I cannot wait to go down there at the end of July for podcast movement.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get to see Daryl in person live instead of just on the internet. It's gonna be nice.
Which reminds me, next week, Kevin. Guess what?
What?
Build's happening.
Yes.
Next Wednesday. So, and it starts at, I want to say 10:30 our time or 11:30.
Well, yeah, probably about right, because
it's 8:30 Pacific time. So there you go. But are we going to do kind of a special episode, or how do you want to?
Oh, it's possible. I'll have to think about it and try to figure out which day, because I know there's one day that I'm going to be unavailable because I'll be at a local workshop kind of thing in St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
One day next week. I can't remember if it's the Wednesday or the Friday episode.
All right.
So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, going to be a lot of Microsoft news next week. Hopefully, we'll get more information about a flagship. I did see something come through the RSS feed today talking about a potential flagship.
Was it the sort of Chinese off-brand that no one's ever heard of before?
No, this was actually a
real flagship.
Yeah, it was actually a Lumia, something like a 5.7-inch display.
See that
showing up on Ad Duplex.
The 5.7 is next to perfect for me. 6-inch, I like it, but it's just hair too big. So that 5.7, that's that sweet spot. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the the 5.5, 5.7.
Yeah,
It's right
absolutely.
about there. I think I'm like you. I mean, I love the 1520 because love the big display, but I think
Oh,
it's just a
absolutely.
smidge too big.
Uh-huh.
And I think the iPhone 6 Plus has got a 5.5-inch display, and I think that's about right.
Yeah, when I was actually at the Apple store, the when I was checking out the watch too, which by the way, it's pretty, but it's just way out of my price range. Um, the 5.5, it feels perfect, just about. Like it, maybe, I'm just not used to holding Apple products, but I mean, it feels really nice, feels really nice in the hand.
Yeah.
The weight is great. I actually don't mind heavy phones. It feels like there's something there and it's not cheap. Some people just really want light devices. I'm not one of those people. Um, but that 5.5 is just that sweet spot.
Yeah, it is good. I'm looking forward to what Microsoft has to show off, and I hope they show off, a couple, not just one. Don't get
Right.
everybody excited over just one.
A
Say,
couple
hey,
that do different things, like, hey, this one has an amazing camera, but this one has something else, or a metal design. And
yeah, stick with the 640 and 640 XL kind of ideas. Hey, same innards. It's just this one's got a slightly bigger display than this one, and it might have a
better camera,
yeah, just minor little differences. Please,
like a 940 and a 940 XL, huh?
yeah, something like that. I think that's what they really.
I think that's the route they're going. Just seeing with the 640, which I cannot wait to get my hands on, a 640 and a 640 XL. Um, because the specs on it are very similar to the 920, maybe slightly better in some areas, and that really interests me because my 920 was a champ. Like, it's still going and it's still a great phone. So,
Yeah,
oh,
so
a
many people
1040.
love the 920.
1040 would be interesting.
Yeah, throw out that really sweet camera again.
Oh, I'm all over that.
So,
And that's like one of the main things I look for when I am getting the smartphone.
mhm.
Is I gotta have a good camera. I take a lot of photos, even if they're dumb photos. I take a lot of photos, and I like them to be nice, crisp, clear, natural photos, not like oversaturated with color photos.
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed with the iPhone 6. I took a lot of pictures when I was in Vegas, and I need to start sharing those out. But I was really impressed with the camera. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this camera is nice," and it's like everybody was saying. So I'm really, curious, to try out one of the Galaxy S6s
Well, I was gonna say
and
the
see.
the Galaxy S6. They're saying that it's like one of the best Android phone pictures out there right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I
it'll be
know the one with the Note 4, which I mean, it's a very similar hardware. It's just a slightly better. It's like a 1.8, the aperture, or whatever.
aperture.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what the new LG is supposed to have as well.
yeah. So I'm really looking forward to trying these out. I mean, Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, just says it's probably the best smartphone camera he's ever used. And I mean, he's used a lot of devices, so I'll take his word for it. He does a lot of testing when it comes to photography and shooting videos. So I mean, the guy's good. So definitely take his word for it. But I want to try it out for myself.
Indeed.
Yeah. So let's move on to some app and entertainment picks. It looks like we're just talking about other podcasts today. So I'll go ahead and let you lead off.
Sure. So, one of my favorite astrophysicists, which is also in the Cosmos, has a podcast called Star Talk. And this is Neil deGrasse Tyson we're talking about. And along with Neil deGrasse Tyson, obviously, you couldn't go too far without seeing one of my childhood heroes, Bill Nye the Science Guy. And those two together are not only very informative, but they are a riot. They are
I bet that would be
hilarious.
funny.
And they have some great guests, namely the guy, his name escapes my brain right now, who does the voice for Archer. and the voice for I believe it's one of the Bob Burgers characters, but most people know him for Archer, and he occasionally goes to some of their live shows, and he'll comment, and with those three together, it's just hilarity ensues. It's a great podcast. I have been listening to it frequently while playing Minecraft and just laughing my butt off at 2 a.m. So there's a lot of podcasts too. I mean, this is like their 6th season or something. It started back in 2013, so I don't know how their seasons work.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
like
but
looking at the website you got linked here, get season 1 now. Start, Star Talk Radio, hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, and we're actually going to go see him May 13th here in St. Louis, which when we went to get the tickets, they were almost sold out. So we didn't get great seats, but we still got seats, and I'm really, really excited. I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson is just, he's an incredible person, and he's such an open-minded person, and we need more people like that. He's a great guy. He really is. JJ, I really think you would like Star Talk Radio if you haven't checked it out already.
Yeah. That's one of the things, you're talking about, you might not have the greatest tickets to a show, but you still got tickets. And I'm kind of that same way. I don't have to be like right down in the main level, up close and stuff like that. Especially if you're there to listen to somebody, you'll still be able to hear them just fine, even if you're sitting up in the balcony.
Yeah, it's H. John Benjamin, which was the actor that plays Archer. So he is hilarious.
Okay. For example, when I went to the Cirque du Soleil Beatles Love show out in Las Vegas last week, I got the cheapest ticket possible. I was like 2 or 3 rows from the very far back. But it was perfect because of the way that they've got the theater set up. You got sound behind you, and it's plenty loud. If you go to my Instagram account, Kevin_Harvell, you can see some of the short videos and photos that I took during the performance. And with the iPhone 6, the microphone placement, wherever they are, I really need to look at this to see the audio on it. People were like, it was so loud and so clear. I'm like, yeah, it was really good. So I didn't feel I had a bad seat at all. Obviously, because I'm not wearing corrective lenses or anything. I wish I was a little closer for that, but it was still wonderful being able to see everything and not being like right down there, having to look up and walk out of there with a sore neck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just I don't know. He's one of those guys that you just definitely. You got to give a chance because he's got some cool things to say, and he really makes you think. And those little brain exercises, I think, are really healthy to think about, especially when we're talking about the human race as a whole, and the good of humanity and things to come, and future of space travel. All kinds of crazy off the wall things that are actually starting to become pretty plausible. They're actually getting ready to launch what they call a light sail in May of this year, and they're going to launch another one next year off of the data that they get this year. So
yeah, I'm going to have to check the Star Talk out. It sounds interesting, and we all know was it Cosmos?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's a great show.
Yeah, I could almost throw that in for a pick if I haven't already. I can't remember, but he's in that as well. I think it's 10 episodes. It's just like a mini series, and it is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll move on to mine. I know I've talked a lot about Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul lately as I've worked my way through the shows, but I found actual insider podcasts, and they're hosted by Kelly Dixon, who's one of the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul editors. So she's actually works directly with Vince Gilligan, and Vince Gilligan is the creator of both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, along with some other people.
Such a great writer.
Yeah, and I mean he co-hosts this podcast or these podcasts with Kelly, and they'll have cast members on, they'll have other writers and editors, and people that are that work directly with the shows to come on and talk about each episode. So if you have not listened to these and you love both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, I highly recommend it. It's actually neat, and I think I guarantee I will go back and rewatch Breaking Bad again.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to try listening to each episode, after I watch an episode.
Oh, that's a good idea. We're actually getting ready to rewatch it with a buddy of ours who comes over and watches Game of Thrones with us. Yeah. So
I think it's really neat to get that insight. So okay, so how did you come up with the name of the episode, and what was your thought process behind these certain plot twists and character developments, and it's pretty well done. I like it.
That is excellent. I'll have to definitely check that out because, as you know, between Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, they're really up there in my list of favorite shows of all time. I mean, Better Call Saul's not over yet, but it's really good so far for a first season. Yeah, for first season, I think I'm 5 episodes in, like we were talking before. So you're about halfway. I'm about halfway, and they're getting more into the backstory of Mike Ehrmantraut. Mm-hmm. It's good, and I am so glad to see his character in here to kind of see all this stuff. As Sam says, he's a huge Firefly, and I know Nathan Fillion. They're doing some things right now with Firefly. I don't know if they're gonna kind of bring something back a little bit on that, or if you know anything about that, Samuel, go ahead and put that in there. But I heard that they were doing something with Firefly. I didn't get a chance to read any of it. I haven't seen Firefly yet, but it is on our list of things to see because I've heard so many good things about it. I think, Joss Whedon does Firefly, right? I think so, yeah. Yeah, and so, I mean, obviously, it's nice and nerdy and awesome, so definitely have to check that out very, very soon. Yeah, so definitely give these shows a listen, and I find myself listening to more talk radio and podcasts in the background than I do actual music, which is why I rarely have a music pick for our app and entertainment. Yeah, that's kind of been my thing. Like I haven't really had too many apps to share that I haven't already that just really stick out there to me, or music wise. I just very, very many podcasts that I've been following. So yeah. And as Daryl mentions in the chat room, Netflix has already renewed Daredevil for a second season. About halfway into that season as well. So, and it's been a great show. So, like I mentioned, I believe probably on the last episode, check out Daredevil if you're into comic books or just really good television in general. It's a great little drama. Sam says that the Firefly thing looks like a game. So I believe it was like an online kind of login, play, something along those lines. I don't know though. I just know I'd seen something. It was either this morning or last night that Nathan Fillion was going to be affiliated with it. So interesting stuff. Yeah. So that pretty much does it, I think, for the show. I definitely appreciate everybody joining us in the chat room again today, and everybody that listens to this after the fact, after we get this thing published, whether you watch the YouTube video or listen to the audio recording. We do appreciate and thank you for listening and or watching. If you would like to reach out to us, you can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. You can find Brad on Twitter at holy_shadows. That's also my gamer tags. Gamer tag? That's where that comes from. Yeah, find them on Xbox. Although minus the underscore on the Xbox. So you'll find them on Xbox, and maybe you guys can join a clan or just play some games together. It's, good stuff. Good stuff. Absolutely. If you've got any feedback or any topics you might like for us to discuss on a future episode, email them or shoot us some messages on Facebook. You can hit us up at contact@thetechinformist.com via email and on Twitter at techinformist. Always got to remember, don't put the on Twitter. So just simply at techinformist. If you'd like to connect with us also on Facebook and Google Plus, we're there as well, obviously, because we do Google Plus Hangouts. That's how we shoot our shows. So, again, thank you, everybody, and
we're looking forward to Friday's episode. And until next time, consider yourself informed. We are out.
See ya.